Welcome back YouTube, KRoad17 here with a brand new F1 2019 video. Today we are at Germany, the Hockenheim Ring, and we are going to jump right into qualifying. Past all the practice programs, so we're going to dive right into it.
Welcome to Germany for today's qualifying session at the famous Hockenheim Ring. The pit lane lights will turn green in the next minute or two to signify the start of qualifying. This is a track that tends to ask quite a lot of the tyres, both front and rear. So is it fair to say a great deal of management will be needed in order to do well here?
Tyre wear is always something you have to consider to a certain degree. Finding a good car balance that suits the circuit will help prolong the life of the tyre, but it's true that some circuits, such as this one, are more challenging than others. How hard you can push them depends on your strategy and how tight the battle is around you.
So heading into qualifying, the car wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be. I'm not sure why. I was tinkering with the setup, but around this time in my career mode is when the big news came out about the patch, and now the AI were going to get nerfed, some of them were going to get bumped up. But heading into the final few corners before we set a lap in Q1, can I make a Q2 appearance here at Germany? We're going to cross the line, and it is going to be a 116. I didn't quite catch that. It's a 116.3, so we actually finished Q1 in 10th position. So we're going to take a look to see where Kimi's at, our teammate, and again, Kimi is knocked down to 15th, so he is out, or 16th I believe, but here we are at Q2. Can we do anything to get a say in Q3? Trying to press this corner I found so tricky. I don't know how to actually attack it, but we're going to cross the line. It's going to be a 1:15 this time. So we do improve our time as well. We actually finished 7th in that, so a bit of a surprise. But the car felt like it was starting to come to life as the sessions went on. I ran soft because all the AI ran soft. But 1:15.6 gets us into Q3. Here is our Q3 run, the remainder of it. So I wouldn't bore you guys. I'm not going to show you the entire bit of the qualifying lap, but here we are coming down to the stadium section. Probably the worst corner I can ever take right there. Probably very close to invalidating my lap as well. But here we are coming up to those two corners I absolutely hate during this race and this track, you know, during qualifying and practice, so on, so on. I could bore you forever, but here we are going to cross the line. Where are we going to finish in Q3?
Nice job.
We finished 8th. That is not a bad show.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Hamilton, Vettel and Max Verstappen. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow. There's nowhere at all I'd rather be today than here at Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix. We have an incredibly competitive field this year, which means we should be in for a treat. And judging by the sea of people filling the grandstands, there's a fair-sized chunk of Germany that agrees with me. It's 2.8 miles around the Hockenheim Ring then, with an average lap speed in excess of 130 miles per hour. The long curved back straight leads into a tight hairpin for the best overtaking opportunity on the circuit. But there are plenty of other options available around the 17 corners here today. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's start with Alfa Romeo. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Pierre Gasly and Ricciardo, Bottas, Rose, Hülkenberg and Lando Norris, Grosjean, Perez, Lucas Faber and Sainz, Stroll, Raikkonen, Kevin Magnussen and Devon Butler. Russell and Alexander Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
careful not to lose places, as there will be faster cars around you.
Thanks for that, Jeff. Thanks for your confidence in me, but here we are gearing up for the German Grand Prix, waiting for those 5 red lights to go out, and they are out. That was a long wait, but here we go. Can we make a move on the inside, and we get a dog start again. Here goes Norris around me, but I get the place back. Really cut that corner. Maybe a little bit too much, but I felt like I had nowhere to go. Here we're making a run on Ricciardo. Bottas on the outside of Ricciardo, locked the tire up a little bit. Leclerc not too far away ahead. We have Norris right behind us. The McLaren chassis is a lot better than ours. We have a better engine, so hopefully during the straight we can keep him behind us. Ricciardo moves to the inside to block my move, which is a smart decision because I was actually thinking about making a little look to the inside, but never mind that. We're through the hairpin and get better traction than Ricciardo, so we're going to try to hold it through this, side by side through there. He's still there on my inside, so I'm going to leave him room. But yeah, he's going to fight back. But it looks like we just about get through that corner, or this section of corners.
Well done, mate. Nice start.
Thanks for that, Jeff. We're going to try to press on here. We are currently P7. Only lap 1, so we have a long race ahead of us this lap, or this race, being at 50%, still 34 laps. But we are in P7. We have Bottas right ahead of us. As you guys remember our Austria Grand Prix, Bottas and me have had quite the little scrap on track, so maybe Germany is going to be a repeat of that. But only time will tell. We're going to jump on board here. Lap 3. I'm starting to feel the car a little bit better, but we have a yellow flag.
Caution, caution, yellow flags ahead. No overtaking through the caution zone. Be careful until you see the greens.
Vettel going really slow there. I thought somebody was going to collect him, but Vettel is out of this race. We're going to jump back and take a look to see what happened with Vettel. So as you can see, Vettel's going along nicely. Not too bad. Doesn't seem like there's any problem with the car, so it's got to be mechanical. As you can see, he starts really slow up right ahead of one of the Red Bulls. Moves firmly to the side. Some of the guys I've seen not move, but there you go, Vettel, another Ferrari DNF of this season. These guys are just not having a good 2019 campaign, but he is out of this Grand Prix.
We're going to box this lap, push hard on the in-lap.
So boxing this lap 5, so we're going to be in for 6 to get a new set of tires. Can we catch Bottas and keep Ricciardo behind us?
Pit now, pit now.
So Jeff really wants us to pit. We're not going to, disappoint him. We're going to come in at this lap. We're following Bottas. We did seem to catch him a little bit, but not enough to warrant a move or anything like that. But we definitely didn't lose too much time. As you can see, we went green in the first sector. We are diving into the pits, and hopefully it's a clean stop. It looked like I was the only one that absolutely dove for the pits in this lap. I don't know why Alpha decided to, call me in so early. Maybe my set of tires were just that much ruined compared to the rest of the field. So we're on our way out. We're going to have a lot to push for because we're going to be last coming out of this pit stop. We pitted a lot earlier than everybody, so we're going to have to really make up for the time and try to catch back up to this field. As you can see, we're on our way out. But you want to be careful. You don't want to overload the tires, especially because they're cold. And you're on a fresh set because you could really put yourself out. But back on board here, lap 6. Only lap 6 of 34. We have Hulkenberg ahead of us. We have Vettel, who actually DNF'd, so we were last.
We're at +1 lap of extra fuel. Fuel target +1.
Now this is right around the time I started to underfuel the car. Not underfuel the car. I think this race I kept it just as is, but I noticed with the Alpha,
our gap to the car in front is 2.1 seconds.
Stop interrupting me, Jeff. No. But I noticed with the Alpha, I could save a lot of fuel just by running in standard. I don't know what it was. If you can see it down there, I start...
The gap to the car behind is 4.4 seconds.
Yes, Norris and Hulkenberg fighting out behind us, but as I was just saying, it's like this car loves to save fuel. I was running in standard, and I was able to recover my fuel pretty quickly, but here we are trying to chase down Russell in the Williams. Can we catch up to him and slightly make a move on him? I have a feeling that he's going to die for the pits this lap, though, because I think a lot of the guys are now starting to shift into their pits and make the pit stop that we made 2 laps prior. So let's see if we can catch up any
Car
ground.
ahead may have fuel problems. Let's push. Keep the pressure up.
So Russell struggling with fuel. This might be our opportunity. We're going to come around this corner and actually grab DRS. Get a little loose out of that corner. Do we, dare think about a move? I think better of it and actually back out, because I don't know of making a move there's any type of sense whatsoever. Russell does seem to have that straight line speed because he does have that Mercedes engine power in his car. Being the Williams, the rest of their cars actually poop. But here we go. We make an inside look with DRS on Russell. That is clean sailing. We were right past. And we have a big battle ahead of us. As you guys can see, we have Bottas, we have Albon all fighting. So while these guys are fighting, we're going to look to see if we can catch them. And maybe, stick our nose in it. But we actually catch up to him in the next lap. Here's Bottas, Leclerc, and Butler. Butler joins the battle. So our old foe in F2 is right ahead of us, as Bottas is going to make the inside look and maybe possibly get through. And he does. So now Butler is our next target. Pushing on with DRS. He does have DRS as well. We're going to make an inside look on Butler. He gives us quite a squeeze. So I know I react to give him a squeeze back. But we pass, and that almost leads me right into the back of Bottas. I locked up hard to avoid hitting the back of Bottas' gearbox. But Butler, yeah. What a move from Butler. Likes to give us a squeeze, being very aggressive. You guys can see how much he squeezes me there. So I decided to, you know what, I'll give you another look and give you a nice squeeze yourself. But ultimately doing that, I lost concentration, almost ran into the back of Bottas. Yeah, so that was fun. Let's do it again sometime, Butler. But back on board, Leclerc looking on Verstappen. We have moved ourselves into 4th position, lap 17 of this Grand Prix. Leclerc gets really slow out of there, so we're going to maybe think about holding it on the inside. We do. Leclerc is still there. Verstappen doesn't know who to cover. Leclerc is still on the inside of me. Backs off for that. So that's another position gain. We get right behind Verstappen now. Can we catch Verstappen on the next lap? DRS is open. On the outside we look. Verstappen covers it pretty well. So we're going to look for it. I know that right here he gives me a big old squeeze. Better traction out of that than Verstappen. I don't know what it was, but we seem to get a lot more traction than the AI cars did out of that corner. So that was a big advantage for me if I could catch up to a car and, make a move on the outside of there. But we're off to P2 on lap 18. Lap 20, I know I make my final pit stop of the race. It was a 2-stop strategy.
Box now, please. Box this lap.
Yes, Jeff, I have not forgotten to box this lap, but we still have Verstappen right behind us. Hamilton's still in a comfortable lead. He is actually in the pits, as you guys can see on the bottom left mini-map. But we're going to dive for the pits as well. I feel like Verstappen's going to follow us right in. But here we go, diving into the nice little camera. No, Verstappen stays out. Leclerc actually follows us in, so this was not too bad of a pit stop. I slow it just a little bit, but let's see if we can pip any of these drivers that are going to stay out for the 1-stop strategy. We're going to dive for our pits now, slap on another set of medium, and we do get out ahead of Leclerc, and we get ahead of Gasly. Back out on track we go. There goes our teammate, and there goes, I believe it was a Haas that passed us, so we're going to have quite the little battle on our hands, a little scrappy battle. But hang on, wait a minute. I have Leclerc behind me in a Ferrari, so I feel like I'm going to get done here by a Ferrari. I have to keep him behind me, but I don't have anything to fight that car. So I move to the inside and try to block him, but you guys can clearly see. So we are pretty much where we are as of, making that final pit stop. Nothing has really changed. Leclerc did get around us, being the, Ferrari power versus the Alpha power. We're kind of like the mini Ferrari team, if you would. I wouldn't say that because I absolutely love Alpha. But following Leclerc down to the last few corners of this lap, will any of these guys ahead of us pit? There's our teammate Kimi right ahead of Leclerc, so this might benefit us a bit.
Okay, we've got plenty of energy. Switch to overtake and have a go.
So usually when Jeff tells me that, I never listen to him. but we move forward.
We're leading our teammate by 8.0 seconds.
So Kimi actually dove for the pits as well as a couple of other cars. We found ourselves back into P6 on lap 26. Leclerc right ahead of me, Verstappen right there. Grosjean actually has gotten himself up to P4, or actually P3. So we're gonna have DRS and look or try to make a move on Leclerc. Leclerc goes for the outside, so I'm gonna go for the inside. It's 3 wide with Leclerc and Verstappen for this next hairpin turn. It's kind of argy-bargy on who makes a stick. We're all still 3. Verstappen makes a little move, but it looks like, again, I get better traction out of that, so I'm going to hold that line and get ahead of both of them. And now set our sights onto Grosjean with about, I'd say, 6 laps left of this race. That was probably one of the better moves I made in this Grand Prix. But we're going to dive in onto lap 34, the last lap of the race. We actually do get ahead of Grosjean because he pitted, and Hamilton picks up the win. You guys can see how comfortable he won this race. For some reason, he had an outright dominating car in this Grand Prix. Nobody could catch him. He was out of the gate. But we have Verstappen. We're trying to hold Verstappen off. Can we make the job done and get another podium for our F1 career? A little bit of an easy task, as you know, I feel like maybe I've improved or the car has improved. But I digress, and we're going to do a little bit of a cheeky weave and grab second in the Grand Prix.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Well, it's got to be Kevin Magnussen. He displayed exceptional skill out on the track today and wasn't afraid to fight his way through the pack.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
So there you guys have it. We came in second, starting P8. That's not a bad showing at all. Our teammate still outside of the points, P12. I don't know what I have to do with Kimi or this car to get him to, you know, pick up the pace and get him into the points. But here we are. Alpha stays fourth in the championship, 85 points. Not too bad. Fourth best team, kind of what they call the best of the rest. We are still in seventh in the Drivers' Championship with 77 points. Just behind Pierre Gasly with 81 points. It's not too bad. I feel like it's going to be a big ask for me to get any higher than P7. But as you guys can see, Kimi's still in third. A couple guys without any points, but nevertheless, we're going to dive into the post-race interviews.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
So this is interesting. Before the patch, our aero sucked really bad, so I decided to say, not really. I have so much more grip than the other drivers, which, I mean, technically we did.
You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret?
There's no secret. It's about having a great team and car. Alfa Romeo all the way.
Great. Well, that's everything.
That is everything for this episode. Emma, thanks for clarifying that. Thank you guys so much. If you like this episode, hit subscribe. I appreciate so much. You are the best. And without further ado, the race highlights.